So right after you eat these meals, you have energy. But the energy lasts a very short period of time, and you're hungry much sooner. And then you have to eat again, and then you have to eat again, and then you have to eat again.
It is a lot cheaper to go eat fast food. I mean, it definitely, you can buy a hamburger for cheaper than you can buy an apple.
That's very sad because you're telling me I have to pay more in order to eat healthy, and I can pay less in order to get fat and to make you rich, or for something that I might die of.
It's unbelievable.
The poorest people in our country are the fattest people. We've done something completely wrong here.
Coming out of the basement is probably the hardest thing I do all day, so I usually only go up once. And then when I go back down, that's it for the day.
What can I do for you?
I got a pretty big order, so...
Okay, not a problem.
The first one, I'm gonna get the Lumberjack Slam Pack. One of those ultimate omelets. And
Okay.
can I get cheese in my hash browns with that one?
Cheese on the hash brown sounds good.
Order the cinnamon roll pancakes.
Will there be anything else?
The double moons over my hammy sandwich. And then to drink, I want 2 chocolate milks.
2 chocolate milks. All right.
Thank you very much. I get so anxious and excited when it's finally here. Even before I eat, just the smell lets me know that things are about to get better. There's almost nothing in this world that can compare to the feeling of taking that first bite when I haven't eaten in a while, because I get that first flood of happiness that comes with it, and it feels incredible. Eating just makes everything better. And it's the only thing that's sort of given me an escape in my life when I've needed it. And there's been a lot of times in my life where I've needed it.
At 7:03 a.m., the drive-through line curls around the block like a hungry snake. Engines idle, phone screens glow. A mother in scrubs orders 3 hash browns and a syrupy coffee the size of a flower vase. A college kid in a hoodie adds extra bacon without looking up from TikTok. No needles, no dealers in dark alleys, no warning labels that truly warn. Just a speaker box, a digital menu, and a dopamine hit wrapped in paper. This is America's most successful drug ring. Its product is legal, its dealers wear name tags, and its profits outpace the GDP of small countries. We call it junk food. But junk food is a soft name for a machine engineered with the precision of a pharmaceutical company and the marketing instincts of a cult. It doesn't just fill stomachs, it hijacks brains. It doesn't just sell calories, it sells cravings. And once you understand how it was built, you realize this wasn't an accident, it was designed. The story doesn't begin in a fast food kitchen, it begins in a lab. In the 1950s and 60s, post-war America was obsessed with convenience. Frozen dinners, shelf-stable snacks, foods that could survive shipping, storage, and the new suburban lifestyle. At the same time, scientists were learning how the brain's reward system worked, especially dopamine, the chemical that whispers, "Do that again." Food companies took notes. Researchers discovered something called the bliss point, the precise balance of sugar, fat, and salt that makes food not just tasty, but irresistible. Too little sugar, boring. Too much, disgusting. But at the perfect ratio, the brain lights up like a slot machine. This was not cooking.
Okay, team meeting in Zoom at 3. Wait, where's the Zoom link? Who sent the invoice? Did I pay Steve? What even is Steve?
Hey, just checking in on the proposal.
Proposal. I haven't even opened my email since 2022.
Then I found Ancoia CRM. Everything in one place. Projects, payroll, invoices, hiring, even biometric time logs. Biometric, like James Bond stuff.
Slot machine. This was not cooking. This was behavioral engineering. By the 1980s, junk food wasn't being tested on kitchen tables. It was being tested in controlled sensory labs. Thousands of consumers biting, chewing, reacting. Cameras recording micro-expressions, machines measuring saliva and swallowing speed. Every crunch calibrated, every aftertaste optimized. The goal wasn't satisfaction. The goal was compulsion. If junk food were treated like a drug, its distribution network would terrify regulators. Gas stations, schools, hospitals, airports, pharmacies, office vending machines, corner stores, movie theaters. It is available everywhere, at all times, often cheaper than real food. And the earlier the exposure, the better. Food companies learned that if they could hook children young, they didn't need to compete later. Bright colors, cartoon mascots, toys in boxes, sugary cereals placed at eye level for toddlers. Marketing budgets aimed not at parents, but at 5-year-olds who couldn't read but could recognize a logo. This was not advertising. This was neural real estate acquisition. By the time those children reached adulthood, their brains were already wired to associate happiness, comfort, and reward with ultra-processed food. The brand wasn't just familiar, it felt like home. Here's the part the labels don't tell you. Ultra-processed foods don't just contain sugar, fat, and salt. They contain combinations that almost never occur in nature. Nature gives you fat with fiber, sugar with water, protein with effort. Junk food strips away the brakes and keeps only the accelerator. Take a typical chip. Fast-digesting starch turns into sugar in seconds. Fat amplifies flavor and slows satiety signals. Salt enhances everything and drives thirst for the next bite. Add artificial flavors that trick the brain into sensing richness that isn't actually there. The result is a super stimulus, something the brain evolved to respond to, but never to this intensity. Drugs do the same thing. Cocaine floods the brain with dopamine. Nicotine sharpens focus and reward. Junk food triggers repeated dopamine spikes without the social stigma of addiction. You don't hide it, you celebrate it. Treat yourself. And so you do, repeatedly. For decades, the industry insisted one simple lie. There are no bad foods, only bad choices. It sounds empowering. It's also strategically perfect. If the problem is personal failure, then corporations are innocent. If obesity, diabetes, and heart disease are just about willpower, then the products don't need to change. The system doesn't need reform. The profits stay intact. Research that threatened this narrative was quietly challenged, buried, or diluted through industry-funded science. Sugar was downplayed, fat was scapegoated, calories became the villain, so the chemicals didn't have to be. Meanwhile, portion sizes exploded. A soda became a bucket, a snack became a meal became a binge, disguised as value. Funny how addiction always arrives wrapped as a bargain. The human cost is written in medical charts. Type 2 diabetes in teenagers, once almost unheard of. Heart disease, the #1 killer. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in children. Obesity rates that climb year after year across income, race, and geography.
I think one of the biggest problems with this kind of food is that so many of us struggle to stop eating it.
And then there's the quiet damage, the fatigue, the brain fog, the mood swings, the depression tied to unstable blood sugar, the constant hunger, even after eating thousands of calories. Because the cruel twist of junk food addiction is this: it leaves you both overfed and undernourished. You consume endlessly and remain empty. If you want to understand why this continues, you don't look at nutrition labels. You follow the cash. Ultra-processed food is one of the most profitable products on Earth. Corn subsidies become corn syrup. Cheap vegetable oils become carriers for flavor chemicals. Waste from one industry becomes ingredients for another. A closed loop of low-cost inputs turned into high-margin addiction. Lobbying ensures light regulation. Marketing budgets ensure cultural dominance. Political donations ensure friendly silence. And the healthcare costs? That bill goes to the public. The same corporations, whose products drive chronic disease, often own the healthy brands designed to profit from the clean-eating backlash. They sell the poison and the antidote, and win both ways. Ask any person struggling with junk food addiction if they chose it. They'll tell you a different story. They'll tell you about stress eating after 12-hour shifts, about cheap food being the only food in their neighborhood, about childhood memories tied to fast food as the one reliable comfort, about trying to quit and failing, again and again. Withdrawal from ultra-processed foods can include headaches, irritability, anxiety, fatigue, and intense cravings. That's not weakness. That's a nervous system recalibrating. But unlike drugs or alcohol, you can't quit food entirely. You must keep using the very system that harmed you every day to survive. That is a perfect dependency structure. Why hasn't America revolted against this? Because junk food did something brilliant. It made itself part of identity. It's in holidays, birthdays, sports, road trips, breakups, late-night studying, sadness, celebration, reward, comfort. It framed itself not as a product, but as a feeling. And to challenge it feels to many like attacking joy itself. But even the most powerful machines eventually show their seams. Medical professionals are increasingly treating ultra-processed food the way addiction specialists treat drugs. Researchers now talk openly about food addiction. Cities experiment with soda taxes. Schools begin banning certain products. Consumers reading ingredients start noticing that a strawberry flavor contains no strawberries at all. Social media has broken the old marketing monopoly. For the first time, a teenager on TikTok can expose the same ingredient list that took decades to challenge on television. The spell is not broken, but it is cracking. So what is junk food really? It isn't just cheap calories. It isn't just bad nutrition. It isn't just personal choice. It is a design dependency, operated by corporations with scientific precision, defended by political influence, and normalized by culture. It is a drug that doesn't need to hide because it convinced us it was harmless. And like every powerful drug in history, it followed the same three-step script: promise pleasure, deliver dependence, externalize the damage. The only difference is that this drug doesn't come in a baggie. It comes in bright packaging with a cartoon on the front and a slogan that says, "Made with love." At 7:04 a.m., the drive-through line moves forward by 1 car length. The speaker crackles again: order, pay, receive, repeat. The most powerful drug empire in America doesn't need secrecy. It runs on habit, on speed, on stress, on engineered pleasure. And every day, without thinking about it, millions of people participate, not as criminals, but as customers. The question isn't whether junk food is addictive anymore. The question is whether a society built on addiction is ready to admit that the dealer was never on the street corner. It was in the kitchen. It always has been.